Yeah. What's up, chat? My computer just went full on disco mode, and that was weird. It was like dancing to the music but flickering the screen. Holy happy Thursday, 4-game slate, late lock. I'm Gun. Twitter.com/Gundacker Sports. And we got a new Gundacker. It used to be Gundacker Sports. And then I am joined today by Rich Homie Quinn. There's Rich Homie Quan. And there's Rich Homie Quinn. There's two of y'all. What's up, dude?
There are. Yeah, what's going on, man?
Not much. Trying to wake up. I slept in today since it's a late lock, 4 games. And I even took a nap last night. I don't know. The temperatures are dropping down here in Texas. And us bears like to hibernate. So I didn't want to get out of bed. But I did. So
yeah, it's getting cold down here in South Carolina too. Last week it was like, you could wear shorts and it was like 70 degrees like every day, and then all that nasty weather came through. I think Sunday night or whatever, like all them storms and wind and stuff. And now wintertime is here apparently for maybe a month or two, and then I guess back to springtime and all that.
Same here. It was like 78 degrees on New Year's. And then the next day it got down to 28, and I was like, "What?" I didn't even get not even like a slow decline. Just like, okay, now it's cold now. All right, cool. We're doing this. But like you said, it only lasts a month around these parts. But it's usually a pretty dang cold month. So we gotta pull out the I wear the hoodie all year long, but I'm a different. What's up, chat? We are killing it already. What up, Justin Brooks, Mighty Saint, Quan, Big League Stu, Plan B, Fish Fan, Remy, Andrew Martinez. How many Warriors is too many on Fanduel? 5. You can only play 4. Fear Money, William McGuire. We got some. You play any golf DFS?
I do from time to time. I wouldn't play. I didn't play this one because it's such a short field. I like playing like a normal size field where you can, play with the, with ownership because it's such a high variance game. You know what I mean? So I sat out this one, but if there's a regular size field, I'll be in it next week.
Yeah, that's kind of my DFS New Year's resolution is to learn golf because I'm leaving a lot of money on the table. I'm not leaving it on the table. There's a lot of money that's involved in golf that every week, and then so my timeline's just cluttered with every week. It's MMA and then there's golf, and I don't really follow either one of them. And so I had to bring in a ringer. My boy Luke has been dropping some content for NBA on this channel. If you guys saw the Jock Market video, check that out. If you never played on Jock Market, we did get an affiliate deal with them. If you sign up using code Gundacker, they will match your first deposit, I believe, up to 50, and then your first play is risk-free up to 100. Meaning, if you played day one and you didn't profit, they would actually refund it just to kind of mulligan you, huh? We tied the golf and then the mulligan. Oh my god, I'm good at this. What up, Nate Birch? Fournier only goes off against Boston, but it's hard to play him. Okay, Big Bino. Now that I know you live, I'm here every day. I appreciate that, Bino. We're usually live at 3 p.m. Eastern, but these short slate late locks, I usually will try and push back an hour. Spencer the King, EB, Chad is killing it. Quan with the dang lazy mofo calling out Quan. So Quinn, it's Quinn, not Quan, right?
Yeah.
Y'all are confused because there is a Quan, and but yeah, he's not new to the group, to the community. He's just we tried to get him on not to like a month or two ago, but everything kept falling through. So I was like, dude, we got a 4-game slate on Monday. We should be able to do this, and then hopefully maybe you can have a recurring appearance. But I mean, you were in a Yankees hat, right? I think I saw. Yeah, all right.
You already know.
He's already good in my book. Speaking of Yankees, I opened up DraftKings, and they wanted me to know that there's a $60 NFT mystery box for Derek Jeter dropping at the top of the hour. So I don't even like get into the NFT game like that, but I will probably join the queue just to relive my month of Top Shot glory, and maybe I'll be able to open it on one of these streams.
Oh yeah, I didn't jump in that first month or whatever, so I just haven't done it, and I probably won't do it. I'll be stubborn since I didn't jump in at the beginning. I'm just gonna refuse, even if it blows up. I'm just gonna. I guess I'll miss the wave.
Yeah, it's Derek Jeter, man. I don't know. It's an autographed NFT, whatever that means.
Exactly. I'd rather have the autographed card.
Yeah,
that's just me.
JNY, still live in Minnesota. It's cold as my girl's from Minnesota, and I went up there last January, and it was literally like in the negatives. But I enjoyed it though. Hey, yo, Tyler, appreciate that sub, my dude. If you guys are out there lurking, not subbed, hit that red sub button, man. But yeah, check out Luke's content. Luke put up a video on this channel, but also Luke's a ringer for golf. So I'm gonna be leaning on him as some of these COD events and more baseball or golf events start coming in. It should be a lot of DFS to play next couple of months. Hopefully baseball ends this lockout, and I don't have to put any type of delay on baseball content because I love me some baseball. But man, they are two sides that are not even talking right now, and that's a problem. That's a problem.
And I'm already starting to do my KBO research. I know it's coming.
Oh man, KBO is better for my sleep schedule, so I wouldn't hate it.
Really?
But I gotta have me some Yankees baseball, man.
Come on, man. Yeah, it makes two of us, but I'll do what I gotta do. KBO was profitable when it was going. I mean, if you know what you're doing and you put the time into it, man, you churning out some results, no doubt.
Yeah, I love it. Frank Costa, what up, Frank? What up, Top Biller? Fish fan says, "Wait, 2 Yankee fans on the stream? That is too many? There should be a rule or something."
It's never too many. Pinstripe pride. Let's go.
3 locks for PrizePicks tonight. Tyler, I haven't really dug into the picks yet. I will as we go forward. I do have PrizePicks open and tabbed open. By the way, last night, we didn't talk about last night. Just a couple of notable scores from the big 11-game slate. Nikola Jokic, 75 and a quarter. They double Okie Dokus. There was no Gobert or Hassan Whiteside. So yeah, that was the path of least resistance for Jokic, and he outscored the second man by 10 fantasy points or 11, and that's almost exactly what I had on my spreadsheet projections. I did not have number 3, which was Bojan Bogdanovic, who dropped 61 fantasy points on
Yo,
DraftKings, 36 real points, 13 rebounds, 40 minutes played. Nuts.
nuts.
KD, 61 fantasy points from him. People were skittish on him. Harden with Kyrie back. Well, I think this is what we should expect. There's going to be one of the Nets here and there that are going to break a slate. It's just going to be annoying because pre-flop we
Mm-hmm.
just expect them to hurt each other. DeJounte Murray on a minutes limit, according to Popovich, came back and played 33 minutes, 56 fantasy points, 1 rebound from a trip dub. Kevin Herter, Trae Young got ruled out halfway through the slate. Not even halfway, probably like 70% through the slate. And then Kevin Herter was not in the announced starting lineup, but he was active after playing like nearly 40 minutes the previous game as a starter. So I was a little bit unsure what that meant. So I went from like 45% Herter to 25%. However, he was only 2.5% owned on Fanduel, so it's still 12x the field. I had probably the ugliest profit last night. I had so many. I had like 80% Bobby Portis, 80% some other bum that busted. But because I was able to get to like Herder and a couple of these, Sabonis was one of my highest owned. Like I made it work just enough that I squeaked out profit, and I would never have expected it looking at my ownerships after the fact. But other than that, it was a pretty quiet slate. Bradley Beal fouled out in 30 minutes. So that gave Kyle Kuzma an extra chance to redeem himself. That also allowed Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to push nearly 50 fantasy points, 26 real points on 40 minutes of action. Christian Wood, massive play at 6K on DraftKings. That's pretty easy. I think the only real surprises was that KCP. Lance Stevenson had 20
Oh
real
wow.
points.
Ah man, that was crazy. You
Bro,
started going off from 3.
it
Well,
was,
not as crazy as Kelly Oubre too.
yeah.
In garbage time.
Oubre tends to do that, but like
Yeah.
Lance, I try to make Lance work in Atlanta. It didn't. And I guess there is something to
No.
be, narrative driven coming back to
Yeah.
Indy. But yeah, he had
On that
20
Pacer
points
jersey.
in 6 minutes. Like
Crazy. I was watching that like I was like, wow.
there's
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Tracy McGrady up in here.
Yes,
Royce
sir.
Royce O'Neal was in some of my top lineups. So, I also had I had 40% Trae Young ready to go. And when he got ruled out, like I had to rummage lineups in late swap optimizer to make it work, and that ended
Yeah,
up
me too. Me too.
because of that, and because of the Gobert news. I also ended up with a lot of Donovan Mitchell. That was the bum I couldn't remember. And I also ended up with Royce O'Neal and Bojan and guys like that just because Trae Young got ruled out. So in a weird way, it worked for me. But Royce O'Neal dropped 40 fantasy points at 3,800. So yeah, weird night. Chat, how'd you guys do? Hopefully you guys did well. How'd you do, Quinn? You do all right last night?
Well, okay, on DraftKings I lost like half my buy-in. I'm only playing GPP, so
Yeah.
it wasn't a disaster or nothing like that. The main thing I did is I actually locked in a whole lot of Whiteside.
Ah,
And what I meant to do is lock him in the utility because I knew if Whiteside didn't play for whatever reason, I can just go to Rudy Gay for 100 less, and I wouldn't have to be trying to change a whole bunch of lineups. But I forgot to do that. But I also had a lot of Clint Capella, so for some reason it had like
mm,
Whiteside at center and Capella in the utility, so I had to go through and change all that. But when Trae Young got ruled out, because I had a good chunk of Trae Young too with Capella, I was in scramble mode. I was planning to play like a bunch of Kevin Herter because I saw how many minutes he got,
yep.
and then when I see he's not in the starting lineup, I'm like, oh, here we go again. So I started switching to some DeLon Wright, which he didn't do bad, but he didn't do as good as Kevin Herter. It was just a whole lot of work. I did so much more work after lock than
Oh yeah.
leading up to lock. And for all you guys listening out there, that's the important thing with these slates. You gotta be still working. It ain't done at 7 o'clock. It ain't done at 7:30. There's still always time to churn out profit, and Gunn did churn out profit yesterday, and that's why you keep working at it, and you never know what's going to happen. But
Yeah.
Rudy Gay did work out for us. I
Oh
remember we were
yeah.
talking about him in the Discord chat, and he wound up going 10x, and
Hmm.
that was a good play, good discussion, and good work on that one.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Also, crazy stuff happened. I also had a ton of 80% Hero, 80% Bobby Portis. Hero was not a great play. Took a lot of shots, didn't make them.
Yeah,
Kyle
yeah.
Lowry got ejected for softly rolling the basketball towards a
Oh yeah.
referee, and that just blew everything. It was a very NBA DFS in a nutshell. Well, 11 game slates. It's gonna happen. What can you do? Onward, upward. Tonight, the polar opposite, a much more manageable 4 game slate. So we're gonna do some work, chop it up. Before that, let you know, stream brought to you by RunDFS.com. If you guys want access to the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, make sure you are up. I had the breakdown screen open this whole time. My bad, chat. Whoops. Make sure you guys are signed up. Get into a week pass, something like that. There's probably say Friday is probably gonna be the last day to be able to get this year pass. Of course, if you use coupon code $50 50BUCKS, you'll get $50 off. That's only been advertised once. Otherwise, in order to know about it, you got to be listening to the stream. So a little extra perk. And then if you use that after you redeem your 150 voucher to Fantasy Cruncher, it's like less than $40 a month, which is crazy annual value. So check that out. When you do, click VIP portal. There'll be a couple of links, one to the NBA spreadsheet and one to the Discord. And the Discord is where the invaluable part of everything happens. The community, it's a really strong community. We've got millionaires, we've got thousandaires, we got hundredaires. No matter what you play, you balling on a budget, you playing single entry, mad century, you just sports betting, prize picking. There's a community here that's somebody you can link up with, relate to. But every day before lock, right here in the NBA chat, we kicking it, we hanging out, and you guys are more than welcome to jump in, grab a mic, join the conversation. If you're new, we've had a couple of guys that are new to DFS or new to DFS communities join the last week or so. We don't bite. Come on in. Make some friends in the space. Anyway, let's get caught up on chat one time, then we'll jump into game number one. Chat is thumbing today. I mean, absolutely bumping, and I cannot keep tabs on it all.
Yes, sir.
My boy Frank says if I had Herter instead of Lyles, we'd be having a different conversation. Yeah, Frank was sweating late with Bojan. Bojan was like 2% or 1%. Good for him. Plan B, Trey Lyles too, didn't play the fourth. Yeah, he lost some minutes there. What can you do? He still wasn't bad per dollar, but that goes to show you guys, like whenever the average player comes in and they think about multipliers 5-6x, like that really isn't often going to be the standard for success on a massive slate. The bigger slates, we sell out for pure ceiling. Not that Lyles was a bad play, I core valued him, but the importance of your value guys going nuts on a bigger slate is even more prevalent, and we saw that last night as well. You're always going to need high scores on those bigger slates to take down any type of money at the top. Royce O'Neal and Tony Snell, most unreliable fantasy players besides. So the reason I got to Royce O'Neal, there was just like a lot of opportunity for minutes for because you were going to be forced into playing small ball. Yeah, they got Azubike and Eric Pascal back, but I thought Royce O'Neal, Rudy Gay, guys like that would benefit by happenstance, and also Joe Ingles was down. Obviously, I wouldn't expect that type of performance out of him in terms of fantasy production, but for stocking stuff for value and hitting the Mayday button because I needed a late swap out of 11K Trey and fill out some spots. Most of that trade became Donovan Mitchell, and then I had to just kind of fill in the blanks elsewhere, especially with some lines that might have took a shot on Hassan Whiteside. And then the Capella thought wasn't as like, I like Capella a lot, but more so with Trae Young feeding him. And then I thought about, oh my God, no one's gonna guard Jokic. and so a lot of the money that was paying for Trae went to Donovan Mitchell, but then also boosted my center spots to as much Jokic as I could get. And Jokic put up yet another bananas stat line while taking
Yeah, man.
the L.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he went stupid. I was watching the game, and yeah, the whole offense just went through him. Seemed like he was getting like every rebound. So like, yeah, I'm like, I know here comes another 70 bomb, and there it was.
Okay, you do. Okay, do Self says, "What up, Gun? Do you only play on DraftKings?" No, I play. I play more action on Fanduel right now than anything for basketball. I prefer DraftKings for football. I like them both just the same for baseball. And then PrizePicks has been getting some of my attention, and when I can help it, I like to get on Yahoo just because it's a pretty easy site to play on when you think about rake and payout structures and stuff like that. But no, I like to be pretty versatile self. So it's not only on DraftKings, but usually for streams, I cater more to DraftKings because I feel like that's the most common user base. But we have FanDuel pricing baked into the spreadsheets, also on the index portal. We have Yahoo pricing baked into the projection sheet, and then of course, if you're playing on PrizePicks, we have the player props tab with all of the PrizePicks pertinent projections. So I try to cover everything as much as I can, and then we're working on some jock market content. Jock market's a little bit harder to cover content wise because it is app only right now. But I have a couple of ways to get around that. I have this connection that will allow me to screen share my phone, but I still got to learn the site a little bit more. Swap Curry for Gafford cost me a near top finish. Dang. Yeah, Seth Curry went bananas as well. What up, Arizona drama? Larry getting ejected killed my lineup. It's kind of BS when they eject guys for stupid stuff. Yeah, that was one of the softest ejections I've ever seen. And Lowry's usually got like he's like famous for being nice, you know? Like he's not one of those guys he's not like Draymond or somebody like that. Like Lowry usually gets the benefit of the doubt because he's just known for being a nice dude. Him and Tobias Harris, like whenever I hear those
Right.
guys get in trouble, I was like, really? Those guys are nice.
Definitely a BS ejection, and when that happened though, I'm like, ooh, Tyler Hero with none of them. I'm like thinking he's going to the moon, but like I said, he just kept bricking shots and didn't work out.
What can you do?
What can you do?
What can you do? All right, hey, basketball tonight. Big story of the slate is I guess the Warriors are resting everybody. Otherwise, we go check out the Underdog NBA tweet from 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll track some of the news to watch. Shout out to JFan. If you're on Twitter, you absolutely must be following this account. I'm completely affiliated with them. He probably doesn't even know I exist, but I definitely recommend if you guys play NBA DFS, follow this one. It's the best one for news. Key news to watch as of 3 p.m. Eastern. Dylan Brooks questionable, Desmond Bane doubtful. Not insignificant there, but if they trade off, could be a 1-to-1. Maybe Dylan Brooks becomes more interesting, but definitely best for Ja Morant's upside if one of those guys is down, especially if both of them are down. So we'll keep an eye on that. Iguodala not on the injury report. Notable with all those guys being out for the Warriors. Nothing else here that's worth noting. I did see that a couple of 10-day contracts expired. DeMarcus Cousins had a really good game last night and then wakes up without a job.
Right.
So
That's crazy.
I'm sure he'll land on his feet somewhere. There's a lot of teams that could use him. But yeah, Draymond out, Steph Curry out. And then I think I saw that Greg Monroe had plans to sign with the Wizards. So keep that in mind for the next Gafford slate. That Monroe could be there to spell him. Celtics at the Knicks. First game on the docket. Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford. And the Time Lord, Robert Williams taking on Alec Burks, Evan Fournier, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Taj Gibson drawing the start last time out. So I'm just going to repeat that. I don't know if that's the plan going forward. Maybe if Nerlens Noel does play, Mitchell Robinson or Noel goes back to the starting lineup. But there is some potential for Taj Gibson to at least start again. So for now, I just went with the last starting lineup. 208.5 is our total with a 2-point spread in favor of the visiting Boston Celtics. On a 4-game slate, got to lift every rock and look at everything. Normally, a Celtics-Knicks game sounds like a slow-paced game that I don't have a lot of infatuation with. But I think today I owe it to myself to at least uncover a couple of options here. I think on the Celtics side, we're dealing with a pretty healthy Celtics team. So no one's going to pop individually. But if I just honor guys that could give me 50 fantasy points, I think I have to at least think about Jaylen Brown, think about Jason Tatum in the Garden, and kind of sprinkle them in my player pool for a potential at a big game. I think Marcus Smart's price on Fanduel is a little harder to like, but on DK at 6,200, he definitely can churn out 30 plus fantasy points here and there. Horford and Robert Williams, both really, really expensive. Normally I want 40 plus. Neither one of them spitting back a really great projection, about 30 fantasy points a piece. So I don't have any warmer fuzzies on the supplementary plays here. Because it's a 4-game slate, I might land on some of these guys by happenstance, but nothing's popping for me. On the Knicks side, very notable that Kemba Walker's out, Derrick Rose is out, so we'd likely run it back their last starting lineup, which saw Alec Burks, RJ Barrett, Evan Fournier, and Julius Randle, with the center spot, I think, being a little bit flexible. But in that split, we know Julius Randle has a better chance to assume some usage. And then last game, we saw RJ Barrett go really, really nuts. So I don't know if he's unlocked something. We'll see. A lot of times when players have big games, I like to stay away from them the next game, especially if they have a big game against a down team like the Rockets or the Thunder, and in this case it was the Thunder. So I'm probably gonna, I don't know, it's also a 4-game slate, so I don't know, I was gonna say I'm probably going to make my RJ Barrett decision based on what the field is doing with him, because he didn't garner a ton of ownership last night, but it wasn't like less than 5%. So I'm gonna put RJ Barrett on the court. I'm gonna take Kemba Walker off the court, and I'm gonna put Julius Randle on the court, and see if on the year we can land on some numbers that we can get behind. And keep in mind, it is a Celtics team that plays a little bit better defense than the OKC Thunder, but as expected, Julius Randle does lead the team in usage with this split, and 1.3 fantasy points per minute, while RJ Barrett was about 1 fantasy point per minute. Let's go home. Let's go home, yo. Plan B.
I'm broke, but here's $5.
I'm broke, but here's $5. I appreciate that.
Nice.
Plan B.
Nice.
Quinn, you got any standout leans from this game? Are you like? I feel like it's one of those games where nothing in here is probably going to be a core play for me. Potentially not even a tier 2 play for me. But I don't like when I think about range of outcomes. I can see Tatum Brown popping for a must-have game on a 4-gamer such as this, and then I look at the Knicks and I think Randle at 9K on FanDuel. We can take 45s on a 4-game slate if they're going to give it to it. Like if 45 is still, a top 3, top 4 score at a position, that dog will still hunt. So I'm giving this game more of a look than I usually would on a bigger slate. But did you have any strong leans from this one pre-flop?
No real strong leans. As you said, you look at it, it's the lowest total on the board, only 208 point combined between the two teams in that range. Obviously, Tatum and Brown, they can break, any slate and any matchup, but I'm not gonna have, too much, probably too much ownership on them. The Celtics as a whole, I just don't like how they're priced, like on DK. I was figuring that maybe Al Horford or somebody like that he might sit on a back-to-back, but apparently he's gonna play. So I think they're just all priced maybe appropriately. So like I said, I'm not gonna have too much exposure to them. On the Knicks side, without Kemba Walker, we've seen Julius Randle kind of start picking up the assists and the peripherals and just overall fantasy play in general. So even at 10K on DraftKings, he's much better play on FanDuel in my mind. I'm gonna definitely have a decent size chunk of him on FanDuel, but even on DraftKings, 4-game slate, I think he's in play. The triple double can be in play, of course. RJ Barrett has seen a usage bump since coming back from the COVID protocols. It seems like every game his usage has been, I think, 25% or better. So he's someone that I would consider, as you said, if the field isn't going to be on him again, if the ownership is getting up there, maybe I'll look another direction. And it pains me to say it, if Evan Fournier, if he's still starting and still getting those minutes, on a 4-game slate with him being 4.4 in DraftKings, if he, puts up a big score, seems like he plays well in these, big games, bright lights are on and all that. He's the type of guy that can win you a lot of money if nobody's playing him and he gets minutes and gets hot and can stay in there. So I think there's a good opportunity there.
Uh-oh.
Hope
Another
I don't
one.
lose tonight. Mike Oxsmall.
God
So
dang it.
small.
Oh my gosh.
Nothing like making a robot say nasty stuff. Shout out to Cameron. No, I'm in agreement with you. I would say maybe I should warm up a little bit more to RJ Barrett than I am. 27 or more in 4 straight games. I said 27 just might be enough to fill a role on a 4-gamer. Obviously, at this price point, the Warriors are going to give us plenty to like with their team going, without Curry, without Draymond, 6'8" for Wiggins, 5'8" for Jordan Poole, 5'5" for Otto Porter, who specifically rested last night, so he could be good to go today. So that's going to eat up a lot of the 6K range. But in the grand scheme of the slate, there's not like a ton to pay up for. All of the 10K guys other than Tatum and Randall on DraftKings are out. So this is going to be one of those slates that makes you go balance just because you can't go studs and scrubs. So yeah, maybe I warm up a little bit more to RJ Perry. I was looking at the last couple Jaylen Brown games against the Knicks. He's giving you 58, 76, 40 in his last 3 games this season. He's given you 76 and 40. The 76 came, I believe, in double overtime, if not triple. And
Opening night.
Yeah, and then that 40, that last time out, and looking at that 40, Jason Tatum was in. So we know sometimes players play up in the Garden, and I don't mind looking at him, but I hate when Brown and Tatum are both 9K, 10K plays because you just feel like the coexisting ceiling is not there. So I probably set a rule to where lineups feature one or the other, and maybe I don't both. Right, 20K for the both of them. Seems like I'm not getting 110 fantasy points from the two, so I might just go one or the other. And then, like I said, I think Marcus Smart's somebody I get to here and there on DraftKings, not even at an aggressive amount because Dennis Schroeder is back in the mix. It's real easy to see some success from 1 or 2 Celtics on this slate, but all these guys exposure-wise for me, they're not going to get a ton of equity. So that's what I got on that, chat. What are you guys thinking on this game before we move on to the next game? Dan Ross says, hit the like so we win a free week. Yeah, we're at likes, 58 likes. Yeah, so yesterday we did set a like record. It was at 147 for the season, which is this season's like button record. So 150 is the new record. So until then, we got to retire the jersey of the chat from yesterday. But I'm willing to pull that jersey down from the Raptors and put your jersey up if we get to 150 likes today, chat. So you want to be great? You want to be great? Be great. Hit that thumbs up. And while you're down there, look at that subscribe button. If it's red, click it. It's free. I promise. It's free. Plan B says, F you, damn Ron. I wanted to see my name up there. Really like Barrett tonight, says McGuire. I'm with that. Barrett's getting locked up tonight. You think so? It's possible, but 6K, you don't need a whole lot here. And projections coming back okay, moderately okay, right? Nothing I have to have at 30, 35. But the shot volume should be there. The minutes should be there. So I'm definitely not straying away. On this Taj Gibson situation, if Nerlens Noel does play, they might have just too many centers for me to dabble with, but I would say 4,600 for Mitchell Robinson does feel like it has a little bit of upside there. And then looking off the bench here, guys like Emmanuel Quickly, Quentin Grimes, they might be 100K to first place type of plays that might differentiate yourself from the field. But again, enough pushback on everything. Alec Burks, I keep playing him just because he's a small forward on FanDuel, and it's such a usually such a shallow position. Today, not as shallow as usual. But yeah, I think nothing in this game for me is going to be core or tier 1s, or possibly not even tier 2s, because we're going to go or have to be aggressive on this next game. The Warriors at the Pelicans. Warriors night 2 of a back-to-back. I made the comment yesterday that I was like, man, the Mavericks really honoring Dirk on a night where they got to play one of the best teams in basketball. That seems like a problem. And then they go out there and beat them. So shout out to the Mavericks for handling business. But tonight, Steph Curry is resting, had a potential injury scare, and I think they want everyone ready to go for Clay's return. And I'm telling you, I got this feeling they're just gonna force feed Clay and make him come back with a bang here. So they don't want to take any chances on a road game that they still have a really strong shot to win against the Pelicans. But the official news and notes for the Golden State Warriors, if I can find it. Steph Curry is being listed as out resting with a right quad contusion, while Draymond Green is down with left hip, and Juan Toscano Anderson is dealing with a left ankle. So all of that is not insignificant. Without Curry, we would be looking at Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins to pick up some slack, and then without Draymond Green and JTA, we'd be looking at some Nemanja Bjelica, possibly some Otto Porter, probably some Otto Porter, and then Iguodala, who is listed as active for today. I was a little bit worried about him going into today, but I guess he also took yesterday off. So he's their veteran presence on the squad. The Pelicans come into this game as one of the worst defenses in all of basketball. If we look at that defensive rating metric, which is a little bit skewed because of the 10-day contract dramas, but Pelicans still have a bottom 8 defensive rating in all of basketball. So it is still a plus spot for a Golden State team that you can get to relatively cheap. The most expensive guy sits around 7K. That's Andrew Wiggins on both sides, and everyone else under 6K. So this is an extremely stackable spot, and I think that's the instinctive play for most players is to just start your lineup with 3 Warriors, maybe 4 on a 4-game slate, and go from there. And I think that's realistic. Jordan Poole, Gary Payton, Andrew Wiggins, Otto Porter would be the 4 guys I'm most interested in. But I don't hate a couple shares of Nemanja Bjelica without Juan Toscano Anderson. I know per minute he can thrive, and if he's going to come off the bench, I can get behind that. And then I don't mind running it back with a couple pieces here. A little bit more volatile ranges of outcomes for the Pelicans now, with Ingram back in the mix, with NAW healthy again. It's not like we're getting straight up 40 minutes of Josh Hart, but Josh Hart still has his hand involved in enough of everything that 30 plus fantasy points is just kind of where you start at when you play Josh Hart. And for his price point to be mid 6Ks, he joins the ranks of the Wiggins, of the RJ Barretts, guys like that are just fine plays. And I think I'm a little bit more comfortable with a Josh Hart just because I know his floor from peripherals and being active is a little stronger than maybe the aforementioned RJ Barrett. So at 64 on DraftKings, I think that's a really strong play. He's $1,000 more expensive on Fanduel, so maybe a little bit more pushback and a little less incentive with the double bonus helping you out on DraftKings. So maybe I rank him a little higher on DK than FanDuel. And then also Brandon Ingram's back in the mix for the Pelicans, has a couple games under his belt now. And these are a couple tough games. Utah, Phoenix, defensively, I mean, you can't really ask for a lot better or a lot worse matchups. And then Draymond Green isn't on the court for the Warriors here, but the Warriors still have a couple solid defenders. Obviously, Andrew Wiggins has been a plus defender. Kuminga can be a plus defender. Gary Payton II can be a plus defender. But I would still expect this game to play a little bit more competitive. So Brandon Ingram has seen his price go from $9,600 to $8,100. You rarely see a $1,500 plunge in price from game 1 to game 2, but that's what we got with Brandon Ingram, and I think you got to have some goldfish memory with him and expect a team high usage rate more than likely, and then potentially a team high fantasy score. So I don't mind looking at a guy like Brandon Ingram to hedge and run back, if you will, a lot of this Warriors exposure that we're going to end up having no matter what. Just on the season without messing with anything, we got 30.1% usage rate on Ingram, a 1.1 fantasy point per minute rate on DraftKings, and then Jonas Valanciunas $1.25. So Quinn, I guess I did a lot of probably the obvious, but I guess I'm going to ask you, what are you doing with the Pelicans side, right? I think it's very easy to know that we're all going to play Warriors, but would you, the Pelicans, do you have a ranking of who you're going to have the most of?
It'll probably, like on DK, it'll probably start with Ingram, because I think you are getting a discount on what his upside could be. You know what I mean? Like you said, at 8.1, he's been usually a 9K player, so I think that there is definitely some meat on the bone there. From there, I guess Josh Hart, like you said, he's been putting up numbers even with Ingram back. It's just producing a lot, peripherals and bunches, and with the way that Golden State plays, maybe this will just help his peripheral boost those up. Um, Joe Val, I'm not sure what I want to do with them at 8.8. I don't know if this is the this is one of those Joe Val spots. I'm kind of, I have to look more into that. And then we've seen what Herbert Jones can do, playing a lot of minutes. 4.5, you throw him in as just one of those cheap guys, and just see what happens. And I know you got your friend of the stream, Devontae Graham, sitting there at 5.9. So I mean, I might have a sprinkling of him too, just as a starter playing 30 plus minutes, decent spot. So that's kind of how it is. Ingram, Hart, I guess Jones, then Joe Val, then Devontae Graham.
You have more. I guess Jones is cheaper. Yo, Quinn.
Yo,
all I see is teeth sometimes, bro.
Oh,
it is dark,
wow.
bro. I mean
It's
that.
not even.
No,
Oh,
I don't know
wow.
what it is, but your feed is dark.
I don't know what it is. I'll have to. I can fix that. I think I can fix that.
bro.
Give me
Yeah.
one
Yeah, go
second.
do you, bro. I got you. But I'm in agreement with everything he just said. I think this is the most stackable game on the slate, but I also think that's what the field's gonna do. So, it is what it is. I'm gonna have likely 3 Warriors and dang near every lineup: Jordan Poole, Gary Payton, Andrew Wiggins. Probably the top 3 for me because those are the guys I expect to play the most minutes. I also expect a decent chunk of run for Otto Porter. We've seen him have some big upside games, so I'll be there on that. Iguodala being in the mix is enough, and Bielisa being in the mix is enough to maybe think that a guy like Otto Porter could be a little bit more volatile. And then Kevin Looney. We don't really give Kevin Looney any consideration game to game, but maybe he is right there for us for the taking because I got a big minute projection on him. And if you get him 30 minutes and you take out the usage, guys like, Steph Curry and then a guy like Draymond, I think Kevin Looney could maybe pop at 30 minutes of action at a really, really cheap price point. So I guess maybe we'll see if there's any type of sample size we can live off of. So I'm going to take off Steph here. I'm going to take off Draymond. And then I'm going to put on just Jordan Poole and Wiggins. I think we should have a sample size for a split on that too. Man, my bad, Quan. We got
You're good. You're good.
no, chat. Yeah, chat's painting to be. Obviously, I'm racist now because
Oh, stop.
28% usage rate on Wiggins in this split, 30% on Jordan Poole. Over a point per minute for Jordan Poole, and Wiggins a little bit more volatile. I guess that is an interesting 1v1. It wouldn't stun me if Wiggins had just a 30 fantasy point game, and maybe getting the 6K guy that drops 40 is the way to win this slate. Wiggins certainly has every potential to just drop a get me over 30 fantasy point, and maybe at close to 7K you get around that with maybe a lower owned guy on the other side, maybe like a Hard or somebody like that. But if you had to rank, let's go home. Here we go. Y'all crushing it. Oh no. Oh no.
Shout to Quinn in the Witness Protection Program.
Hey, don't call me out like that, man. Right. Don't call me out.
It's oh my. So yeah, if I had to rank my Warriors exposure, I'm probably gonna go Jordan Poole 1. I'm thinking Gary Payton 2, Andrew Wiggins 3, and I think Wiggins is the guy I think could be the most volatile just because of a 30 from him on a 4-game slate might, like, it sounds good, but that might get edged out by a Hart, by a Barrett, guys like that. So I'll probably have the least of Wiggins from the 3. I'm still going to have a bullish amount, but if I had to rank how much exposure I'm going to have, I think Poole and Payton. And Payton's a guy kind of like Josh Hart. If you watch some Warriors game, my man's involved in everything, bro. He's hustling.
Yeah.
So I love players like that for fantasy. So give me all of that. But while we were trying to figure out your lighting situation, I was discussing the thought of Kevin Looney. I'm a little bit interested in his $3,900 price point. I put him at 29 minutes to play tonight. I'm getting right about 30 fantasy points on both sides. So, yeah, how you feel about Kevin Looney here on a slate that I guess when you think about centers on this slate, yeah, there's Jonas Valanciunas. You get the coin flips of the Celtics bigs. The Knicks could have a 3 center rotation. None of those guys that could really make you feel warm or fuzzy. I guess Jalen Smith would be the guy points per dollar that feels the best, but there's not really centers that you have to have pre-flop. Is Kevin Looney gonna end up trending positively by happenstance?
Um, it's possible. That's one I'd have to look into more because just at first glance he wasn't really on my radar. It just doesn't seem like he ever gets the minutes. But perhaps in this type of matchup, with them needing somebody big to match with Joe Val, you might see more minutes for him. So he's somebody that I'll definitely now keep in my back pocket and look from there. I was also just thinking about their glut of kind of like that power forward position. Like we don't know if Otto Porter is going to start. We've seen Kuminga start in the past. You got Bjelica's presence there, playing the backup 4 and the 5. So that's one we might have to wait on the lineup to see, who the starter is, and I'll feel really good about whoever's starting as far as where my exposure is going to lay.
Yeah, I think they're all cheap enough that I probably get to anyway. Just out of curiosity, last 3 games for Kevin Looney without Draymond just alone, 25, 20, and 27. So I'll take that 25, 27. That 27 happened in 30 minutes a couple days ago against the Utah Jazz, and then the 20 happened against Denver in late December, and yeah, so I might sell myself on more Looney than I kind of expected pre-flop. Let's move on to the next game. Grizzlies hosting the Pistons. Projects starting 5 for the Pistons. Killian Hayes, Cade Cunningham, Ham Diallo, Sadiq Bey, and Isaiah Stewart taking on John Morant, DeAnthony Melton, Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Stone Cold Steven Adams. Gonna get you one board. What? Memphis does have some news to keep an eye on. We've had a stretch of games without Melton, without Concher, without Dylan Brooks. But it looks like Melton and Brooks have cleared health and safety protocols, so we should expect them back. And while they're back, it looks like Desmond Bane, who has been really, really good in the absence of Dylan Brooks, might be out. So 2 steps forward, 1 step backward here. Let me see if I get a better story from the DraftKings blurb, because I didn't see anything on NBC Sports Edge, but he does have an official. He's doubtful for this game, but left quad soreness. So Dylan Brooks does represent a decent chunk of usage if we get full minutes from him. And I still want to be more so on the Warriors side, but I anticipate the field to agree with that. So I guess maybe the Memphis is a way we get a little bit different. We have seen some people, or some players get skittish on playing some of these return from COVID guys. But man, if they specifically held him out to get his conditioning right, and then you take out Desmond Bane, I feel like Dylan Brooks just might be ready to go. And if you put him in a matchup against the Pistons, man, if he plays, I'll probably be a buyer at 6,200. He's another guy that could put a little meat on 30+ fantasy points, 20+ shot attempts. Usually, there is a stretch in this game log that involved no John Morant. But when we put those two on the floor together, Dylan Brooks and John Morant, they both have pretty high usage rates. It's so much so that I might be a little spooked on Ja. But let me just put Ja on the court and put Dylan Brooks on the court. I'm not gonna mess with anything else, even though Bane. I guess I'll take off Bane. But the Wowie spits back 38 minutes of sample size for the 2 on the court together. Dylan Brooks actually has a higher usage rate. But if I open up these minutes a little bit more, because I don't want to over dilute it here, 147 minutes of Brooks on the court with Morant, but also Desmond Bane. Brooks still has the highest usage rate here, so he does probably represent some of the most shot attempts on the team here. So he might be somebody that's a little interesting considering the matchup. This is definitely a spot where we need the news before we make definitive decisions. but Memphis at home against an inferior defense certainly gives us some floor and upside spots. This game and the next game we'll be wrestling with double-digit point spreads. We've seen this story before, though. That can easily burn some people on a short slate. We just kind of have to trust the numbers here and trust the minute projections, although the Grizzlies have been playing really good basketball. But Ja Morant at 9,200 on DK, 10.2 on Fanduel. Talked about how this slate does not have any studs to really go up there and get. And the studs that we do have, there's a little bit of pushback, right? Jason Tatum, well, he's got to share the court with Jaylen Brown and a pretty healthy Celtics team and a slow pace, low total. Julius Randle, same but different. RJ Barrett, not a great matchup. Ja Morant, points per dollar for 50 fantasy point upside. He comes in at 9,200 on DraftKings. He's got a really decent ceiling, all things considered. And in my soft projections, he came in as the highest scorer on the slate. So if you're not going to be the most expensive guy on the slate, and the slate's going to give you a ton of value, this is one of those spots where normally I don't live in happiness with 40 fantasy points, 46 fantasy points from 9K. But we're going to have to really sell out for raw points tonight and understand that we might just have lower scores tonight just because of what we're dealing with. We're all playing from the same deck of cards. So I think Ja Morant's an interesting talking point, because at this price point, if this was last night and I projected him for 46, I wouldn't want it. But in context of tonight, being potential slate leader in fantasy points, I might just take it and sell out for raw points. And his upside, I think, changes and sways a little bit more. Like if Dylan Brooks was out, I think he has a higher ceiling here, potentially a higher floor. What do you know at this one? We're wrestling with the spread here. On the Pistons side, we did get Cade Cunningham back in the mix. We haven't seen the Pistons prices get stabilized or neutralized based on that stretch of no Cunningham, no Stewart, where Sadiq Bey and Ham Diallo were just breaking slates. And that's another spot where we might adopt the overpay for floor situation. Do you have any strong leans in this game? It does feel like one of those games where I think we're going to need something here to be live at the end of the night. And for me, it's if the Grizzlies are as projected, I'm looking at Ja Morant, Dylan Brooks. Every now and then you can sell me on, I guess, Jaren Jackson and Steven Adams. But what about the Pistons? Do you avoid the Pistons at these prices today?
I mean, with it being a 4-game slate, it's going to be tough to completely avoid them. Well, look, not all of them. Okay, Hamidou Diallo, I can just scratch him off. I don't think he's going to get enough minutes to pay off 8.3. Sadiq Bey at 8.5. I mean, you would need this game to go, all 4 quarters, them stay in the game and him play, 36, 38 minutes like he was before for him to, even approach 50, fantasy points, in my opinion. Cade Cunningham at 7.9. Again, that seems it's like his second game back or whatever. I might just stay away from that, especially if he's going to be popular. I don't really know all the ownership yet, but if he's going to be popular, he might be someone that I look to stay away from with them being such huge underdogs. So, and like I said, if Isaiah Stewart is back and he's starting, they say he's going to be the starter, and I'm assuming he's going to play 30 minutes at 4.6. Maybe I'll take some shots there because he's so cheap and, he's the starter or whatever. So that'd be something I'd look at.
I think I'm okay with full fading the Pistons here.
Yeah.
There is, a spike opportunity for Bay or Cunningham, but I think for the most part, I don't expect them to have deep ownership either. I think everyone has an immediate pushback at a cheaper price point from the Warriors, from even the Grizzlies, and even the Pelicans here. So, but yeah, with Isaiah Stewart back, I don't have to get to Trey Lyles. I really don't have anyone other than Cunningham and Sadiq Bey at over 27 minutes right now. And that's just enough that I just kind of leave my stay out of it. I usually do look to target point guards or active guards against Ja Morant. So maybe if Cade Cunningham spiked, I wouldn't be surprised at the end of the night. 26 minutes last night against Charlotte, very lopsided game. If they stay competitive, we know Cade Cunningham has 35 plus minute point potential. We know his usage can be highest on the team. So he might be the guy I'm a little bit most intrigued with, because I think he has the most upside considering the matchup. John Morant is just
Yeah.
as good of an offensive player as we see this a lot. Defensively, he's just not it. So if Caden Cunningham tries to take over it and go blow for blow with John Morant, I could see that as a range of outcomes. So maybe I sell myself, and maybe more so on Fanduel. Fanduel at sub 7K, like there's a world where Cade Cunningham outscores maybe a higher owned Andrew Wiggins. I got him for 40 fantasy points on FanDuel, and I got Wiggins for 40.07. So I actually have him for almost half a fantasy point more than Wiggins. Not that that's going to mean much, but just saying, like, there's a world where he outscores a much higher owned Wiggins, considering the matchup, and he would be the one way I kind of piece this game to stay close. Sadiq Bey is the second guy I think I would lean on, but I don't know that I actually do get there today. Like it's like mentally it's there. Put it in practice is a little bit different. Yesterday, double-digit shot attempts. You know he's going to chuck threes. Probably going to chuck, not 10 threes. The peripherals have been down, and I kind of expect that with everyone to be back. Isaiah Stewart in the mix as well. So if Bay's going to have a monster game, it's probably going to come off of 30 real points, and I don't know how often I'm going to project that to happen here against the Grizzlies. So I think it's Cade Cunningham as maybe the last of the Mohicans, the lone star for me on the Pistons side, and then the Grizzlies. I really need some news to really start drawing together some thoughts and some plan of action, because I can get myself to Morant, Brooks, and then Jaren Jackson, maybe just by happenstance, 6.6K, 6.1K. There's been a couple slates in the last couple Grizzlies games where he just ends up coagulated chalk, right? Like we didn't intend for him to be chalk. There's just nowhere else to put this money, so we played Jaren Jackson. That could happen here again, and it's a reasonable 6K price point against this front court. If you get to 30, we'll take the 30. Chat, what are you guys doing on this one before we move on to the next one? We got to get you a ring light, brother.
Yeah. Hey, look. I have one.
What, you have one?
I must not have it positioned right, I guess. Like I said, I haven't streamed in a while, so this is all like I'm kind of like working through kinks. I gotta go to a different spot, which I'll do next time. But it's one of those things. First time, but hopefully not the last time. Don't hold it against me too much, man.
I forgive you, chat. Forgive him. Forgive him.
Please. I beg of your forgiveness. I do.
Speaking of which, we just hit a single season record for concurrent viewership. So shout out to you guys. And if there's 246 of y'all, and the like record we hit yesterday was 147. Chat, I'm just saying, you could be great. You could have Hall of Fame jersey retirement to success. If you break the like record for this season, 147 was yesterday. So if you get to 150, if we're breaking records on viewership, 150 should be nothing. And if we get to 150, we'll give away a week pass at rundfs.com, and you guys can be part of the action today. So get on it. And while
bring those likes, please. I want to see my name in the rafters, man. That's what we all in it for.
Yeah, absolutely. And while you guys are doing that, let's talk some prize picks here. Those of you, a couple of you guys are already in chat asking about prize picks plays. So we'll spend a minute. We got a little bit of time to look at prize picks. If you're not on prize picks, sign up using code GUNDACKER. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. $20 becomes $40. $100 becomes $200. It's instant. It's not slow drip. You don't have to play through it 20 times it's just they're gonna give it to you, man. Prize Picks is so much fun, and it's such a good site, and every level of contact with Prize Picks for me has been so good. Shout out to Jordan on the back end, helps us out in our partnership, but also on the front end, it's so much fun, and I'm seeing screenshots almost nightly in the Discord. And we talked about earlier with golf back. A lot of DFS contests opening up, more money in the ecosystem. Prize Picks is not just NBA. It's not just NFL. Literally anything. I've never seen such a diverse board of options to get some action on. So PGA, if your DFS lineups don't look so good after 2 days, they offer daily picks over there. I was talking to Luke about it yesterday. Stuff like fairways hit, birdies are better, final finishing place, fantasy scores. They also have hockey. They have tennis, women's college basketball. I don't know if you were in the voice chat yesterday, but Chronic was in there touting women's college basketball prize pick plays, and he was betting free throws. And I was like, Chronic, what are you doing with your life? And then he comes back later and he swept it. And all of his, literally every one of his women's college basketball free throw props hit. And that's just like, that's insane to me. They'll have disc golf and they'll have NASCAR. NASCAR is coming back in a month. So be sure to get over there, and you can get versatility in your cards, right? You can have as little as 2 picks, as many as 5 picks, 10x your money. But you could say, bet the over on Jason Tatum. You could bet Jordan Spieth. That's a name, right? I know golf, and then you could bet an NFL prop from this weekend. You could put it all together. So wherever there's an edge, you put the edges together and get yourself a little bit of money. So a couple of you guys have asked, what's standing out on PrizePicks. So what I like to do when I first open PrizePicks is check out their fantasy projections and compare it to mine. So I knew off the top Ja Morant led my projections. He actually has a higher projection on PrizePicks than I have, but it's close enough that I don't want to get above or below it. Looking through here, anything that stands out, I was on Sadiq Bey real points yesterday. Cade Cunningham's at 35. I got him at 40, almost 41 fantasy points. So that might be something I lean on, is Cade Cunningham's opportunity to excel on this projection. Maybe we look at the Warriors here. So in the last couple of weeks, they've also added a search function. If you just type in Warriors in the search bar, you're going to get every prop for a member of the Warriors team tonight, whether it be fantasy points, real points, rebounds, all that good stuff. Let's see what sticks out. So when we did that split on the Warriors, we'll go back to the Warriors. Who do you think leads the Warriors in real points tonight? I would guess Jordan Poole, if I had to.
Yeah.
I think he's
I agree with that.
And they have him at 19.5 real points. So maybe we'll check out.
I don't know about that.
I mean, I don't know. Jordan Poole. Let's go. DK game log without Steph Curry.
He's kind of cooled off from his hot start earlier this year. I know he's going to have more opportunity today.
So the last 2 games without Steph Curry were one happened this year against the Pistons, 32 real points. Last year, 38 real points. Obviously, that's a small sample size, but there's a lot of real points being taken off the board here. So I don't know. I wouldn't mind looking at the over 19.5 against my homie Devontae Graham. Gary Payton, he might be somebody I look at for hustle stats, like rebounds. They got him at 6.5 rebounds, and that guy is involved. Like I said, he's a scrapper. So maybe I'll explore not only rebounds, but let's go home. Let's go home. God dang it.
Oh
boy. That was not too bad.
Hurry stream. Gwayne been in Discord for hours.
Shout out to G. I might be looking at Gary Payton rebounds. What do I have the props? So anyway, if you guys have a subscription at rundfs.com, I do have a player props tab that has projections that serves as a companion piece to PrizePicks. So just out of curiosity, did I have anything big on Gary Payton in terms of potential rebounds today? I have him at 6.5. So that's about where I want to be, but I do like Gary Payton scrapping out there. So we're really tight with some of these lines right now for PrizePicks. So give me Jordan Poole over 19.5. I'll do it. Give me Jordan Poole over 19.5. That's me. I'm calling it. Chat, you guys got one? Let me know. Janet says, when I heard Quinn's voice, it sounded like a little like Shady's. Okay, I can see that. Shout out to Shady. Shady went to Hawaii in the last couple weeks. Let me get caught up on chat. So many of you guys got to take a selfie. Went to take a Dameron, saw myself in the mirror, and I look fleeky. Y'all are chat's wildin'. 60 burger for Joe Val tonight, says Arizona drama. I don't hate that call. I do like running back to the Pelicans quite a bit, and I think that'll be the knee jerk game stack. It is what it is, though. It is. Bay, since he went ghost last night, DFS hashtag DFS tells me that Bay in a bad matchup will go off. 226 watching, less than 100 thumbs up. Oh man, what up, aka Hollywood? Also, by the way, Z Chronic Nebula, man, I appreciate that sub from earlier. You're the real one. Josh Jackson's been chucking. Man, it's hard to love any of these secondary plays from the Pistons because you feel like there's just not like going to be a deep minute projection that you feel comfortable with. But we know Josh Jackson per minute can be a solid play. But I just don't. I think I lean on anyone that's not starting, right? Any Biombo talk? We'll get to that one. Let's go home. Josh Jennings with the 10, bro. Weird. Chat's making it rain right now.
Yeah. Love to see it.
Pool will feast.
Pool will feast. Lil Glove should fill stat sheet and Otto will chuck.
I like that. Josh is probably the most knowledgeable Warriors fan that I know. He's always in the chat giving me that inside perspective of what the Warriors are gonna do. Likes for lights. Yeah, 150 likes will turn the light on. Right, 108. 150 is the record and a free week pass. So you guys are almost there. I believe in you. We got one game left on the docket. Phoenix Suns hosting the LA Clippers. Projects 35 for the Clippers. Reggie Jackson, Terrence Mann, Marcus Morris, Nick Batum, Serge Ibaka up against Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Cameron Johnson, and Jalen Smith. We got 221.5 total. 11 point spread in favor of the home team Phoenix Suns. This game, in context to the slate, is 2 hours after the Grizzlies game, and it's your late night hammer game to choose from. And we do have to wrestle with the potential blowout. The Clippers are struggling. No Paul George. They do have Reggie Jackson back. He's been back a couple of games, and he's pretty cheap on both sides as well. And considering what his potential upside could be, we never paint Phoenix Suns as like a positive defensive matchup. But what we can do to compensate for the defensive efficiency of the Suns is know that the Suns run a very fast pace. So the Suns actually have the second best defensive rating in all of basketball, while holding the fourth highest pace in all of basketball. So extra possessions maybe can compensate from a fantasy perspective of the tough matchup, and you put deep minutes on a couple of guys and deep usage on a couple of guys. We'd have to consider a guy like Reggie Jackson. I have Reggie Jackson, Terrence Mann, Marcus Morris all kind of flirting with 30 fantasy points. I'd kind of take it. Marcus Morris, a little narrative baked in for him. If you want to think about Phoenix, Serge Ibaka, it seems like every night he's chalk and doesn't play minutes. And I finally was like, you know what? I'll let 25% of the field play Serge Ibaka. And then at last slate, kind of came through with a solid game. Now I'm probably not going to get there today. But historically, my Serge Ibaka take was I like Ibaka in fast matchups. So ironic that I might be out on Serge Ibaka here when I've been an advocate of playing him in faster paced matchups because he's such a peripheral getter. But I'm probably not gonna be that excited to him because I want minutes tonight. If nothing else, if we're gonna get some rough projections, we're not gonna get big ceiling projections. I want to sell out for minutes, but let's paint a picture for the Clippers here. Let's take off Paul George. Let's put on Reggie and let's put on Marcus Morris. And there was a stretch where Marcus Morris, shout out to Chronic, was going bananas, but that also coincided with Reggie Jackson being out. So this season with Reggie, Marcus Morris on the court, Paul George off the court, we got 177 minutes of sample size. Reggie Jackson leads the team pretty considerably in usage, 28%. No one really has a fantasy point per minute to their name. So considering the spot here, it's easy to be lukewarm, if not out on the Clippers. But I think in the interest of liking someone to sweat late game in these prices, I think I will get to Reggie. I will get to a little Marcus Morris. Not a lot, just a little. And then looking at the Suns side, I'm more interested in some Suns potential floor and some Suns potential ceiling. If you've been watching this stream the last couple of Sun slates, I've been all about some Devin Booker, and I think tonight, Devin Booker is as good of a late night hammer as anybody. If you want some guys to close your lineups pretty strong, Devin Booker this season without DeAndre Ayton on the court leads the team in usage, has a 31.4% usage rate, almost 1.3 fantasy point per minute. I mean, that's just really, really good. So I will get to Devin Booker pretty bullishly. And if I'll take, 46 from Ja Morant, I'll take 40, 45 from Devin Booker, a little bit cheaper. And I don't think lineup construction is going to be an issue tonight, right? It's really, there's not really bank breakers on the slate that's going to make building lineups hard. It's just really might be a night for game theory and just positive construction based on the games at hand, like positively correlating, a spike game from Wiggins or a spike game from Jordan Poole. Same with Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Like I'd probably only get one or the other. Like just kind of putting some rules in the mix and hoping it hits. But Devin Booker has a real shot to be my highest owned stud on the slate. I don't know if it would be my highest owned player, but I definitely could see myself having over 50%, potentially tier oneing him on both sites. And it's not like the projections killing it at his price point. It's just I trust the uses, I trust the minutes. If it does blow out, I think he has a big hand in it. So I'm in on Devin Booker pretty aggressively. The Phoenix Suns also have Bismack Biyombo to back up Jalen Smith, and maybe that situation is getting a little bit more coin flippy. What we saw last game, Jalen Smith got in a little bit of trouble early on, and Bismack Biyombo, one of the 10-day contract guys out here playing for a job, went out there and crushed it. 4 fouls in 16 minutes against the Pelicans for Jalen Smith. And then Biyombo comes in and says, hey, remember me, 29 minutes of action, 5 fouls, but got 38 fantasy points on the back of 5 stocks. So I like getting to both of these guys, but that might be another situation where I drive a wedge where I don't have a lot of overlap between Jalen Smith and Biyombo. And in this case, I don't really have a strong lean which way to go, but I gave him the same minute projection. And if I'm going to put the same minutes on Jalen Smith and Biyombo, knowing that their per minute rate is similar and potentially the guy off the bench might perform a little bit better, why wouldn't I just lean the cheaper option? And for DraftKings sake, the cheaper option is Biyombo at 4K. So $1,300 discount to Jalen Smith. Do you think you'll have more Biyombo than Jalen Smith, or are you even at either of these guys?
I will probably take some more shots on Jalen Smith if he's projected, especially he's projected to be lower owned. You know what I mean? He's still the starter, and from what I've seen of him, I just like the way he plays. I think it's a fantasy friendly. He's a good big man, and I will definitely, have either both of them in my pool, both Smith and Biyombo. But I do think that I'm gonna take some shots on Jalen Smith. But to go back to some of your points earlier, as far as being a little more correlated and driving a wedge between some of these players, I think that it's definitely more important on such a short slate. There's chances of Smith and Biyombo in the same lineup going off are slim, so you want to get rid of that, and you also want to definitely look towards correlation, because maybe if a couple of the other games blow out and you have maybe 5 plays from this game, and this game stays competitive, you could pass a whole lot of people with your guys getting minutes and other guys getting less minutes than projected.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fourth quarter sweat from this one.
Yeah,
But I definitely like pieces here. I think I'm just gonna have to not think about blowouts, and normally that's the right move anyway on any slate, but especially on a smaller slate. Like I don't want to lose out on some floor to ceiling ratio, because I think the game, like I personally don't expect the Clippers to be that competitive against probably the best team in basketball at home. But I just can't think like that, right? I will say on the Suns out list here, not insignificant. Landry Shamet is out, so we're opening up some minutes there. We saw that increase some ownership on Cameron Payne last slate. Elfrid Payton is in the mix, but Cameron Payne, I guess, is the first guy off the bench that you have to look at for the Suns if you're trying to get a little bit different. 21 minutes against the Pelicans last game. Didn't do a whole lot. He's very, very volatile, but he does have 30 fantasy point potential. 30 against Charlotte, 31 against OKC, 25 against Memphis. So, again, weighing floor is kind of my priority on these smaller slates, but knowing that if I'm trying to win 100K tonight, got to get a couple of sprinkles, so some volatile plays here. So there is some game theory behind getting to some Cameron Payne in this spot, this matchup, and without some of these other guys on the court or in the mix. I'm in on that. Another guy that I played a lot of last slate was Cameron Johnson. He's about 5K on both sides. There's no Jay Crowder. And then, of course, that front court's been without Javale McGee and Frank Kaminsky as well. Cameron Johnson, just somebody that I talked about Jaren Jackson getting ownership just because money's got to go somewhere. For me, it's been Cameron Johnson. The minutes have been there, 30 plus minutes in 3 straight games, 34-35 against the Pelicans and the Celtics. And I think he does just enough of everything, including get you some real points, sneak you with the real points. He's gotten you double-digit real points in his last 10 games. What does PrizePicks have him at? There's a name that maybe not picks up a lot of track. Cameron Johnson at 15.5 real points, so they did give him some respect. So Cameron Johnson's a guy I can lean on quite a bit here. I don't know. I think these secondary plays for the Suns might end up being pretty big staples in my lineups. We hit another record. We have definitely broken the viewership record for this season, 270 plus. That's nuts. So I cannot thank you guys enough for hanging out. If you are new to the channel, hit that sub button. We do stream every day, usually at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. And if we get to 150 likes, and we're very close, we'll do a week pass giveaway at rundfs.com to celebrate. And then if you get to 148 likes, that would be the record for the season. So shout out to everyone out there. You guys are nuts. 4-game slate, and you guys are chilling with me right now, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. Maybe it's Quinn. Maybe it's the Quinn effect. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I wasn't gonna say that, but
oh man, what up, Valdo says what's good, Gun? Been gone a few days. Glad to get back with our top 3 value picks of the day so far, and I appreciate you, bro. Based on my projections earlier, and we got to tighten the screws as we get closer to lock. I got Nemanja Bjelica at 3,400, coming back at nearly a 30 fantasy point projection. Remember, no Draymond, no Juan Toscano-Anderson, and if he comes off the bench, would probably have a lot of the usage there, and he could also play some big. I also got Kevin Looney and Bismack Biyombo's coming in at nearly 30 fantasy points. Now I'm willing to push that down a little bit, knowing that the algorithm is probably going off a short sample size based on his production so far this year. But like I said, guys out here trying to play for a job, play for another contract. It's probably not going to be with the Suns, but it could be like a Greg Monroe situation. He did really good for the Timberwolves, and now he's probably going to join the Wizards for a little bit. These guys are trying to get signed, so they are playing super, super inspired with all the incentive to pop. So those are the top 3 for me on DK. Gary Payton's next up, 6.4x value at nearly 31 fantasy points. So those are some of the top popping value plays, man. Y'all don't hit that like, I'll start watching this video naked. Don't do it. Man, that's crazy. I'm 280 plus. I'm gonna cry. Holy. Friend of the program should thrive against pull defense. You get some Devontae Graham in your life. I'm with that. Wish I could make it rain, but the way my bank account's set up, it's all right. Shout out to hey man, just watching is good enough. Ceiling is the roof. Yeah. So I guess I trust and believe that we're gonna get to 150 likes on this video. So I'm gonna open up a week pass giveaway. So let me get that set up. You guys can kind of watch the process, and we'll do the same process, right? So we'll start the chat bot. It'll ask you to type !Raffle, and then it'll consider everyone that types that. And the only way to type in chat is to be subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, this would be the time where you hit that sub button, try to get a little something out of it. So we're going to custom giveaway, and let's do a 5-minute timer. I got to be in the rundfs.com Discord in about 10 minutes. So do a 5-minute timer, giveaway in chat. But while we're at it, chat, if you guys have any lasting 1v1s, questions, comments, concerns about tonight's slate, throw them in the chat. Otherwise, immediately following the stream, I'll be in the rundfs.com VIP Discord in the voice chat. You guys can get access behind the paywall at rundfs.com right here. The homie G Wayne always in there, but there'll probably be 20 guys in here in a little bit, talking the slate, winding down, having some fun here. So come be part of that. Is this a loop? Is what a loop? Me? I'm not a loop. Would it be crazy to play Marcus Smart over Cade on Fanduel? I think usage and matchup benefits Cade here. So crazy is a strong word. I don't think it's insane. I would probably look at the ownership on either. In my mind, I didn't expect deep ownership on either one, but I would personally lean Kane, but that's a process play, right? The usage in the minutes there. Ted Nugent says, when the Sun's going to bring Elf off the shelf? Maybe. I heard this song.
never.
Yeah,
Probably
never.
Ever.
What do we use? Malacur, no. Quinn, no. One lineup. Would you rather have Burks, Jaren Jackson Jr., or Marcus Morris? Probably Jaren Jackson.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's upside. I'm trying to win first, Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah, probably Jaren Jackson. 154 likes. All right. You guys have your jersey
Yo,
retired. You guys have your jersey
is there?
retired. That's nuts, man.
What?
I
That
was
is.
not expecting this. I just thought this would be a 4-gamer stream. We're chilling, we're vibing. It's a laid back Cadillac Jack type of day, and we out here setting records, man. You guys are nuts. I
Oh
appreciate
no,
you.
I did put it out on my Twitter, so maybe some of my hive showed up and dropped a like and
Yeah.
whatever.
All right. Shout out to the Hive. A lot of yours in chat, a lot of raffles. I don't see any questions, so we're just gonna let it ride, let it ride. Keep on moving, keep on moving. About a $1.50. Help. Man, there's a lot of people in this raffle too. It's gonna be like 30 plus. I
Gonna set a
might,
record for the raffle.
I might have to do another giveaway. Who is Joe Val? Joe Val's Jonas Valanciunas Warrior. Lyle's in a blowout. Maybe Malacur. I don't mind like reverse thinking. Like I said, I like to not predict blowouts, but if you want to use that as a form of game theory to get to some guys in blowouts, sure. I'll say Lyles didn't play in a blowout yesterday, but I guess Isaiah Stewart could change that. You feel like Luka Garza might also get stronger looks in a blowout, so I don't know. Josh Jackson as well, right? I was watching the stream while taking a Damron earlier. Maybe Gunn has Christian Wood right now. I'm just grateful. You guys are awesome. We will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. I'm not 100% sure who the co-host is going to be. It might be Raj. But tomorrow they've been doing big slate, small slate, big slate, small slate. So tomorrow I'm anticipating a big Friday night slate. Not that big. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 9. We can work with that. Spurs at the Sixers, Jazz at the Raptors, Bucks at the Nets, Wizards, Bulls, T-Wolves, Thunder, Mavs, Rockets, Kings, Nuggets, Hawks at the Lakers. Ooh, Trae Young at the Lakers. Yes, sir. Cavs and the Blazers. So decent size slate here. We might get another Anthony Simons night. So we'll be back on this channel tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Set a reminder and come be part of the fun. Tis it Tizod. Appreciate that sub.
Tizod.
Tizod. There we go. Appreciate that sub.
Tizod. Woo, that's a tough one.
Less than a minute left. You guys want to enter into a week pass giveaway? You can be a current subscriber, by the way. And we'll just stack it. I feel like I should give away 2 just for the occasion. I don't know. What do you think? Should I give away 2? It would be nice.
Yeah, be nice. It's 2022.
Gobert
Nice, man.
has entered health and safety protocol.
The Jazz just had a bunch of news pop on Underdog. If you want to look.
Yeah, let's do it. Kind of had a feeling. My boy Jake tweeted that Joe Ingles said something about Donovan Mitchell was playing video games in the next room. Bojan ruled out for Friday. So we just talked about tomorrow's slate where the Jazz are at the Raptors. And we have Bojan ruled out after breaking the slate last night. Mike Conley ruled out. Donovan Mitchell ruled out. Rudy Gobert out. Rudy Gay night?
Yeah, Clarkson's questionable. Royce O'Neal's questionable. It's crazy.
And Canada's got all these new stringent rules, so I don't know if that'll come.
Yeah, Rudy Gay's now questionable.
Oh my god, that game might get called. I don't know. That's got to be an extra monkey wrench to sign a bunch of 10 days overnight and get them into a different country, on a country that's locked down. I don't know.
Stringent protocols. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Something to watch for sure. All right, chat. We are full 39 of you guys, so let's do 2. So if you win this giveaway, I need you to type your Twitter handle in chat, and then I need you to go to twitter.com/Gundacker, DM me your email, and we'll get you set up if you're not already a member. Winner number 1's Andrew Collins. So give me your Twitter handle. DM me
shout
Twitter.
out Andrew. I know Andrew Collins. We go back a ways. So glad to see you win one.
Nice. And then number 2, bam, TL. I don't know who TL is. You definitely need to type your Twitter handle in chat and then DM me on Twitter. So you guys are awesome. I appreciate that. Any other questions I got to get into the Discord here. We are at almost 4:30. So yeah, nuts. nuts. WS says pick me Sun Gun. I don't pick the winner. I just let the thing do it, right? Canada's not having that. Yeah, probably not. Get them G Leaguers there ASAP. Put me in, coach. Hey, maybe Raj won't be able to make the stream tomorrow because he can sign a 10-day with the Utah Jazz.
Yes, sir.
He says he's got that jump shot. We'll see. I don't know, man. Oh my gosh. Quinn, man, I appreciate you. We gotta get you back on. Or maybe next week, man. It's been fun. Get your lighting fixed.
No, I will. I will definitely do that. I'm not used to having the light on like during the day. You know, I like to keep that light bill down. I got kids, man. They leave everything on. That's serious. But yeah, anytime you want to have me, yeah, I'll make it happen. I mean, I love streaming and I love chopping it up and talking about it. You know.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a three-man crew sometime next week. I gotta see what's on the agenda tomorrow. But yeah, more stream tomorrow, chat. But Quinn, I'll catch up with you in a little bit in the chat. Appreciate you, chat. You guys literally crushed it. Like I couldn't ask for more. You guys broke you broke this season record for concurrent viewers, for thumbs up. We're trying to get to 6,000 subs. Looking at today, we started at 5,809. We're at 5,825. So we got dang near 20 new subscribers. Like that's crazy. Like that means a lot. So literally, like, thank you. Appreciate that. We'll be back tomorrow hanging out at 3 p.m. Eastern. You guys want to be part of that? You know the drill. It's an interactive experience. I'm going to be in the Discord for the next 2 hours, chopping up the slate, making player pools. 4-game slate's going to be a little bit more laid back, so a couple more shenanigans. But if you're new, it's a great time to hit the talk button on your mic, introduce yourself, get connected with the community, man. I hope you guys absolutely crush it tonight. After 8 p.m., we get to chill out for a little bit. Don't have to sweat the late swaps as much as we did last night. And then we can kind of recharge those batteries for tomorrow. I think I'm going to try and cook some meat or something, get some ribs going. I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. Appreciate you making part of my day, be part of your day. I love you guys. Good luck. God bless. And as always, go win some money.